Mr. Baldridge, I'm Tanya Iser with Channel 8. William Baldridge didn't want to see us. That's him putting his hand on our camera. We had questions about county deed records. We'd like to talk to you about these properties. Baldridge is a real estate investor. There's a whole lot of properties that have been conveyed to your company where people are dead or don't even exist, sir.
Please get out of my face.
A WFAA investigation found Baldridge has somehow gotten signatures on property deeds from dead people. Those documents then allowed Baldridge's companies to take over ownership of homes in Dallas and Houston. Questionable? You bet. Later sold those homes often for cash.
We had absolutely no idea.
Paul Dotson's case is one example. They probably weren't signing deeds in 2018.
No, not at all. There's no chance.
Dotson's great-grandfather, Francis Dickerson, died in 1977. So who signed his name last year, 41 years later, on a property deed in Dallas County? He owned a home. It was in the family, but not anymore.
I really could not believe that the home had been sold. It was devastating news.
Dotson's case isn't isolated.
He took a lot of honor and pride in his property.
Ruby Rahman and her husband Will Davis are Houston police officers. They lived down the street from Korean War veteran John Keel until he died 3 years ago.
This is John's flag that was on his coffin.
VA records say Keel never married and had no children.
If he had a kid, he would be talking about his son, every time we saw him.
Yet 2 years ago, these names showed up on an affidavit. Robert P. Smith and Cynthia Peters, claiming to be family friends of Keel and swearing that he had a son named David, an heir to the Keel home. Ever heard of a David Keel?
No, ma'am. I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Knowing John, I don't believe that person exists.
Have you ever heard of Robert Smith or Cynthia Peters?
No, ma'am. But
take a look at the document. Look at the notary. It is none other than William Baldridge. Did you ever meet David Keel? You ever meet David Keel? You ever met Robert Smith or Cynthia Peters? Do you know these people? You've notarized documents indicating... Mr. Baldridge, we're just trying to get your side, sir. So who is William Baldridge? We mentioned he's a real estate investor, but we also know he filed bankruptcy twice, most recently in 2013. Records show he was more than $13 million in debt and went for years without filing tax returns. We also know Mesquite police are investigating Baldridge for real estate fraud. A search warrant said police are looking into multiple properties in connection with Baldridge. The warrant specifically said those title deeds are very similar, as if he is recycling the same information.
I believe from my research that this goes back many years and that there are other people involved.
Carla Rankin said she first figured this out while representing Baldridge's ex-wife in their divorce.
From there, it's been a continual find of houses, fake affidavits of heirship. Many of the people that he's signing the deeds have passed away and have been deceased for many years.
But how could such an alleged scheme occur? Dallas County Clerk John Warren told us it's pretty easy.
There's no way for us to determine if it's a clean deed or a dirty deed.
His clerks record hundreds of documents each day.
If we had to go through a process of vetting the documents to make sure that there was no fraudulent intent, I would probably only be able to record maybe 10 documents a day.
Instead, the system relies on notaries verifying people's identities. How are you? Are you Kelsey Nixon? Yeah. Nixon was the notary on the deed signing away Paul Dotson's great-grandparents' home. They've been dead for many years, yet your notary is on those documents? How can that be? Did you ever meet them? Do you know them? How do they show up on those documents if they've been dead for all these years? When called to testify, Nixon said she couldn't find her notary book, and Baldridge never turned his notary book over to the court either. Dotson's family now plans to sue to get what they believe to be their rightful property back.
When my mother found out the news, she actually began crying. Her mother said that one day this would be theirs, and now that's been taken away from them.
The new owner told us he's not sure what to do, knowing this house might not be his.
You create a problem where everyone loses except the people involved in the scam.
One thing is for sure, Dotson's relatives did not create a problem. They did not rise from their graves to sign deeds. In Dallas, I'm Tanya Iser.